There are few World War II shooters out there that come close to the masterpiece that is Medal of Honor. This game is just incredible. Great music, great gameplay, great level design. However, today's game comes very close to topping Medal of Honor, and that is Call of Duty World at War. Released in 2008 for, well, just about everything, Call of Duty World at War is considered to be the best, or at least one of the best games in the series by many fans, and myself included. Why is it so fondly regarded by most fans? Well, let's dive in and find out. Like many of the Call of Duty games, World at War's campaign is split between two different perspectives. The Russians fighting against the Germans, and the US Marines versus the Japanese in the Pacific. Little side note here, I think this is the only Call of Duty game that focuses on the US Marines. Every other one is about the US Army, as far as I know. I bring this up because my best friend is a Marine and I wanted to show him some love. Although, he plays this game like a complete jackass. So if you see an idiot running around on screen with me, you know who it is. Anyway, the game opens up with you and your fellow Marines being tortured by the Japanese. This sets the tone for the rest of the game, because this game is a lot darker than all the other Call of Duties. After your guys come in and save you, it's time to kick some ass.
Thank God. We're gonna make them pay for what they've done.
Fuckers! Grab a rifle. We're gonna tear this place apart.
And this is when the gameplay begins. Have you played Call of Duty 4? If you have, you've played Call of Duty World at War. It plays exactly the same. It has that standard Call of Duty feel, which is a good thing. I may not be a huge fan of the Call of Duty series, but when the controls feel really damn smooth like they do here, it's hard to complain. The guns in World at War have this sort of retro or rugged feel to them. One thing I've noticed about this game compared to Call of Duty World War II is that there's so much more kick on the guns. Now, I'm not a firearms expert by any means, but it would make sense to me that older weapons would have more recoil. I've heard from my friend that most World War II weapon stocks are just pieces of wood, so they're really not comfortable or easy to handle, which is a nice little detail for this game. Gives it some character. Now, when it comes to fighting the AI, it's a little bit interesting, especially when you fight the Japanese. I actually think it's more interesting when you fight them because they constantly surprise the player. Their guerrilla-style tactics will keep you on edge. They'll lay traps for unsuspecting Marines, charge at you with bayonets, lay in the grass with their ghillie suits, and will pop out of spider holes to shoot you. This game really tries to show the various tactics that were used by the different nations, and it succeeds. Now, on the flip side, when you're playing as the Russians, the gameplay reverts to your normal Call of Duty game. However, they focus a little bit more on the characters and motivations of the Red Army. Also, I love the introduction to their perspective on the level Vendetta. As the game goes on, you'll notice the Russians get very bloodthirsty by the end of it. If you take your time with the game, you'll often see your comrades killing Germans in cold blood. I love how gritty this game is. The violence here helps the game's darker tone. It really feels more like a war here, rather than in the later games, because in the later games, it's a little too blockbuster for me. I mean, in this game, when a grenade explodes, you'll see limbs flying off, and you'll hear bones break. Or when you blow some guy's leg off and see him in agony, it makes you cringe a little bit. I also really like the level design in this game. It's open compared to most Call of Duties. And that's a good thing, because it gives you player freedom. Some of the levels are a little short, but it's not that big of a deal. This is also one of the few Call of Duty games to have a co-op campaign option. Me and my buddy went through this campaign together, and I gotta say, I'm really confused as to why more Call of Duty games don't have a co-op campaign feature. Another cool thing about the co-op campaign mode is that you can collect death cards. Death cards are just like skulls from Halo. They can alter the gameplay a little bit and either make it harder or just add some good fun into it. The only problem I have with this game is the difficulty doesn't feel quite right. Normal is too easy, Hardened is too hard, and Veteran is just fucking bullshit. I put myself through that years ago, and I'm never gonna do it again. One thing I really do like about this campaign is that it showcases a variety of battles. It shows off the big ones like Stalingrad, Okinawa, and the Battle of Berlin, but it also shows off some of the lesser known battles like Peleliu and the raid on Makin Island. The last thing I'll say about the campaign is that the sound design and the soundtrack are phenomenal. This is one of the few Call of Duty soundtracks that I listen to outside of playing the game. As far as the multiplayer goes, it's pretty much identical to Call of Duty 4, but there is one exception: vehicles. Most of the medium to large scale maps will have tanks on them, and you know what? Vehicle warfare does work in Call of Duty, and I'm surprised it took until the newest Modern Warfare to finally add in vehicles again. I didn't play much of this multiplayer back in the day because I was addicted to Halo 3 and Bad Company 2. But I really gotta say, this is a great multiplayer game. The map design here is probably the second best in the series. My favorites being Airfield, Dome, and Asylum. I really like the maps here because there's a lot to do in them. Sometimes there will be an underground passage, or there will be a great sniping position. They're also open, giving freedom to move around in. And like I said, when you have vehicles, it just adds in a whole new dynamic. Class customization here is really well done. It may look simple, but there's a lot of thought that goes into creating your classes here. I couldn't tell you how many times my friends and I would just spend so much time tweaking our classes, trying to just make the perfect class. The only thing here that I feel suffers are the tactical grenades. I just don't really use them as much here as I would in Modern Warfare. However, every Call of Duty game has a weapon or a kill streak or whatever it may be. It has an overpowered feature that everybody uses, and it is so goddamn annoying. And in this game, it's the MP40. It is so frustrating going up against someone with this weapon. It's actually better to fire from the hip with this weapon than to aim down the sights. Since it's an SMG, you're going to want to get up in people's faces. And when you're at a short distance with this weapon, it's almost a guaranteed kill. The hit detection is a little awkward. It's not game-breaking, but it just feels a little bit off, even if you have the best connection. One little thing that sucks too is you can't go online with a guest, and that just sucks. I was only able to get games of Team Deathmatch. I mean, this game is over 10 years old, so it's not shocking that the player base is very minimal. Not gonna lie though, I was expecting this to be a hacker haven. I thought every lobby we were gonna be in when we were playing this was gonna be hacked. But it wasn't. and I was pleasantly surprised because this game's multiplayer is really fun, and I kind of regret not playing it a little bit back in the day. But I did play quite a bit of Modern Warfare 2's multiplayer, so I guess it evens out. Man, who could forget seeing that cutscene for the first time? It's Nazi zombies. Easily the second most important addition to the series. I'm sure some of you watching this keep buying Call of Duty for the zombies mode. Now personally, World at War has my favorite zombies, and for a few reasons. First of all, this game has the creepiest atmosphere out of all the games. I like seeing the zombies come out of the fog and knock der Untoten, or seeing their shadows on a wall before rounding the corner like in Der Riese. It has an eerie tone that the other games lack. I mean, you're making a zombies mode. You may as well try to make it at least somewhat creepy. Secondly, the maps are fun and easy to understand. I don't really like the new zombies modes. I'm just gonna keep it real for you. I don't really like them because they are so overcomplicated that it totally forgets what zombies is all about. Zombies is just an arcade-style survival mode. I just want to see how long I can last and just kill zombies. That's it. That's all I really want to do. The games have gotten so overcomplicated with all sorts of different objectives. But here, you can just pick up and play. And that is the strength of the zombie series. I mean, the most complex that it gets here is on the map Der Riese, where all you have to do is turn on the power and link the 3 teleporters, and there you go. Then you get Pack-a-Punch. That should be the main focus of zombies, is just surviving. I also really like the zombies characters in this one. They were introduced in this game, and they were just fantastic. Tank Dempsey, Nikolai, Takeo, and Richtofen are all great characters, and they're all funny stereotypes. It's just great. In conclusion, World at War is a game that will provide hours of entertainment. The 3 modes offers a lot of replayability, which is always nice. It's cheap nowadays too, so there's no reason to not have it. Fair warning though, the DLC still costs like 20 bucks, which, seriously, the game's 12 years old and you're still charging 20 bucks for these maps? Whatever. Just pay the 20 bucks and have fun, because this game is worth it.